Hello, everybody. This is a little bit of a different format from what I normally post. I've been getting into Warhammer 40k as of the past couple of years, and unfortunately, I didn't think about starting to make videos on it until recently, with the new rise in 40k with the 11th edition right around the corner, and my start about halfway through, a little bit more towards the beginning of Warhammer 40k of the 10th edition. So I know it's normally a gaming channel, and we're going to continue to do gaming on this channel. We might edit that later on into having multiple channels, but for now, we're just going to do all the videos on here with different videos and whatnot coming out as much as humanly possible. So we're going to get started. For starters, I'm just going to say this now. I'm new to the editing software that I'm using and editing in general. But I didn't even get started with Warhammer 40k. I started off in a game called Star Wars Legion. It was just mainly I got a starter box of clone troopers and droids. And from there, it's kind of how it led into it. My first model I ever bought and painted was the start set of troops, and then I bought the speeder with the side bike to kind of grow my clone trooper army. The paint scheme was originally white and pink. I mean, kind of like every other clone trooper, other than the select variants, you mainly see white clone trooper armor with pink highlights. And if people haven't noticed by now, pink is by far my favorite color. And from there, it just kind of went into a different direction. My friends kind of kept telling me about Warhammer 40k, and I finally gave it a chance on the tabletop, which led to my first game. The first game I ever played of Warhammer was beginning of 10th edition with a dual game, so a dual team game, partnered up, duos. My partner was my buddy Chris, and we were going up against my brother and another buddy of ours. And I was playing Knights. I don't remember what my brother or Chris were playing, which is horrible to say because, to say the least, that my first game was a win just because of Chris alone. He really taught me a lot about the game. My buddy Chance was playing the Guard, Astra Militarum. So all the little green boys out there. And I was playing the Knights. So we were playing on TTS just because, everybody's miles away from each other, and this was the best way to connect. They asked me if I wanted to join, and I didn't realize how long of a game it really could be. This game took us, we were each doing 1,000 points, and it, with me learning, same with my brother a little bit, I think, and my buddy Chance, who was most definitely still learning within reason. It took us, I think, 6 hours. I think we started at like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and we didn't end up until midnight, if I remember correctly. Mind you, I didn't take any pictures, unfortunately. It was something different for us. And after playing my first game, I started looking into armies. And what I really liked the Knights. I really liked the big booming machines that everybody kind of just, you see walking around, and watched a lot of lore videos from a lot of famous YouTube people out there. I don't want to necessarily say their names, even though they probably wouldn't mind it at all. But just for clarities. And I kind of was like, okay, I know they're the poster boys and whatnot, but I'll do the Space Marines because they have a nice starter box. I can build up a second army and have people that might not normally be into the game just because of the small town that I'm in, have a second army for them to try out, or they can try out my main army, which is Space Marines. And I'm like, well, knowing all the lore behind it and all of these other things, we tried a lot of different things. I know that we looked into lots of things. Anyway, getting sidetracked here. My first purchase was the Leviathan box, I think. Starter box. It wasn't the biggest one, it was the second one for the starter box. And it had a unit of 5-man Terminators, a 5-man Furnace, and a Captain and Terminator armor, which is all monoposed, by the way. And then there was a 10-man squad of Hormagaunts, a Psychophage, Winged Tyranid Prime, and Von Ryan Leapers. And of course the Ripper Swarms to go with it. And that's what I bought first. So with these models that I bought, I really loved building. That was my favorite part at the time, was building the models. I really enjoyed that. And I had a paint scheme in mind. I really wanted my models to be pink, something different. I didn't want them to be plain white or anything like that. I didn't want to necessarily have to follow the color schemes of other chapters, so I kind of went a little too deep in the paint, as you could say. And the creation of the Titan's Hand Legion, aka the Cotton Candy Legion, was born. And this Cotton Candy Legion is, a lovely warlord purple with lightning blue accents and gold trim. I thought was the perfect accent. And mind you, I didn't have any of the accent paints. I was originally going to do all the accent paints in blue, not blue and gold, and all the minor things to paint it. And then from there we went and I painted them, and I at least primed my my Tyranids. And then I bought my second model. My second model is, of course, the Predator, Destructor / Annihilator. And I knew I wanted to magnetize it as soon as humanly possible. And I had magnets ordered already. I bought the Predator, Destructor, Annihilator kit and built it up to where I could have both, of course, just so it just looked the best. And I didn't glue anything down. I made sure I could magnetize the side sponsons and all of that. And from there was just kind of the deep dive into it, because I was working on building armies. I wanted to get into some actual tabletop games and all of that. And from there I kind of went down the rabbit hole. From this rabbit hole I looked at many models, many different things. Mind you, I didn't need any more models. I definitely let the pile of shame grow. I say a lot. If you haven't been able to notice, it's bothering me. And mind you, my Tyranids were primed. I never painted them. And I was like, okay, well, from here we're gonna buy my second models. And I bought a 3-man unit of warriors for my Tyranids. And at the time we were at a family event where myself, my brother, and my cousin's boyfriend, we decided to take these warriors and we'll each paint one. Or paint a model I had, I should say, because my brother didn't paint a warrior. He painted my first Winged Tyranid Prime. And I know I should have more pictures of all of them, but I don't, and I don't really feel like taking pictures of them. But if you want more, and this actually does good, I will. So we started painting. I think I was actually continuing working on my Space Marines, my brother painted a beautiful. I mean, it might not seem like anything special, but beautiful wing Tyranid Prime, dark brown, little white accents. Made it really just simple, but a very good looking model. And my cousin's boyfriend, I don't feel at liberty saying his name, he painted the warrior leader guy, the commander of the group, I should say. And he did it in a red base coat, and mind you, him and my brother built the warriors, so I didn't have a say in the weaponry. I didn't have a say in too much of it, and built these beautiful, like painted this beautiful model in red and green accents. It turned out really, really well. And from there, we painted, and me and my brother kind of did a little mock battle, all that kind of stuff. I mean, wasn't anything special. It was like a 500 v 500 point game. It was a very quick game. I had to take out models because I had way too many points, and we didn't learn that until after the first game. Because, of course, I had my painted Predator and my Terminators and Pyro Blasters and all that, and he didn't have any anti-tank. He had a whole bunch of Hormigons or Termagants, I should say, and things like that. And we watched a lot of videos together and whatnot. It was our first game that we played tabletop, 500 points. We played on a pool table with whatever we could grab, and it was something different. My next models that I bought was 2 Armigers, and I magnetized those guys as soon as I possibly could. I also had these when they were painting up the warriors, and it was a lovely time. I don't believe I actually got them painted. I got them primed. Never used them in our little mock battle, but they were primed and ready. And then from there, I bought my first actual Titan. I bought the Crusader, and that's what I built them as, was a Crusader. And then I later came back to magnetize them so I could have all the different variants. And then a couple months later, or however long, possibly even a year, they added another sprue to the kit, so I was a little upset about that, but that's how that goes. And this is kind of when I started getting other models as well. I got my first box of 10 man of intercessors and another 10 box of assault intercessors. I had some aggressors and another 5-man point of, or 5-man group of Terminators. And this is kind of when I was like, okay, now I need to get some tabletop games in and start practicing. And I kind of went around to a couple game stores. The first one I went to said they don't do it anymore because just that community there is more into like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, things of that, more card games. And they recommended me over to the other game store, which is right down the road, around the corner and down a couple blocks. So I went there, and they're like, yeah, we do games on Friday nights. So the next Friday night, I went down, and I didn't know I needed to message people, so I just did a pickup game with whoever was willing to. And my first game was against a kid that was also running Space Marines. He was actually running Black Templars at the time, and I don't remember all of his models, but I know he had a nasty group of Hellblasters. He had a Repulsor Executioner, and he had a speeder of some form. I can't even remember the proper name. Shows you how loyal I am. And I'm running my Titan. I'm running all of my little warriors, whatnot, and I get absolutely obliterated. First game, just was still learning, and I get obliterated. And from there, I played another one against a gentleman that only runs knights. He is a knight player, and he's a good knight player. And he'll come back up in a later story of how I kind of got into it and where we're sitting at now. But we had a battle of knights and whatnot. I was running armigers in that game, and we did a little bit more personal game there, and it wasn't exactly Warhammer 40k. But after the knights, I bought a warrior squad of Necrons just because I wanted to try painting them and seeing how they looked in different color schemes I had an idea of. And right before that, I bought aggressor squad, a 3-man aggressor squad with Captain and Gravis armor to lead them, because I thought that was going to be nasty. And as I slowly built my list, I started writing different things. I was writing Gladius Task Force mainly, but I started adding different things such as this captain, looking at different styles of how to play it, how to properly use them. And my army just started building from there. Had my Terminators, I had my Pyro, my first squad, my Intercessors, my Assault Intercessors, and then I bought my Repulsor. But the Repulsor came a little too late. So my first tournament I went to, I never took any pictures. I was there to really learn the tournament experience. And I lost all but one game. I lost my first game. I don't remember the points. I do. I don't. It was like 69 or 72, 70, 71. It was a 1 point difference, and if I would have been able to finish that out in 3 hours, because we were right down to it, it was a good slobber knocker, and I almost won my first tournament game. And he was a Chaos player. He was either Demons or Nurgle, but he brought a lot of definitely more Demons than anything, and his Great Unclean One, just, if I would have killed it, I would have got the last Bring It Down points and won, but he won by 1 point. My second game was against the Dark Angels player, and I won that game. He had a whole bunch of Terminators, Marines on bikes. I don't remember. He didn't have any tanks, but he had Terminators, bikes, and either a Land Raider or something to maneuver things around. It was a Land Raider or Impulsor. And I won that one. And my third and final game of that day, I don't even remember who I played. Oh, I do remember. It was Bo, or no, I can't even remember who it was. Another knight player, and I lost. Really nice guy. They all taught me things from their experiences and different aspects, and try different things. And the guys that were the head of the tournament, the GW tournament there, they definitely talked to me and helped me have ideas of what I should buy next. And that's where the Executioner came in. Was, okay, I'm going to get an Executioner and kind of switch up my models around and try out a different thing. I do have pictures from all sorts of games that I had. It was definitely a long day, to say the least. I don't even remember where I finished. But then but definitely learned a lot. So I bought Executioner to put in play, and I was coming back with a new Vengeance. And this new Vengeance is definitely going to be something else. So I played another tabletop here and there, and then played against my cousin, who was also building Space Marines just to get some practice in, right before my Duos tournament. And this Duos tournament was great. My first game of the day was a bye. So how that one worked is I played against my partner, who was playing Grey Knights. And this was the first tournament I did without my knight, even though I really wanted to bring my knight. It was my first game I brought without it. And I can't remember if I had my repulsor for my first tournament. I think I did, but I think he got tabled pretty fast. Yeah. Anyways, so my little 1,000 points against his 1,000 points, and I came out victorious on that. And that was the first win of our day. Well, my first win, because that was been his first loss. And from there, I got a little Nurgling plushie. That's what I won from that. And that was one of the greatest things to happen at the Duos tournament. And it was nice. It was fun. Our second game, we won. It was... I can't remember who we were playing against, but we won by a lot. And then our third and final game, we went up against Death Guard and... Oh, what are they? Another Chaos faction, and we lost. Not by a lot, but we lost. And in that tournament, we came in second. And for winning second, and they do a little door draw for us because they're nice like that. And I won a copy of the the cards that they did for it. It's not Pride and Nexus, it's the next one, the 2025 2026 card deck. And that was... And we got our little second place trophy, and we took a picture. It was really fun. It was really nice, and this was at a different spot, but it was a great game. And then my second solo tournament. My first one that I went up against was Sisters, I believe. Adeptus Sororitas, if I remember. And I won that because they were definitely glass cannons. I had definitely a lot different strategy. I brought Brutalis in, my Terminators, a 5-man brick of Intercessors, my Predator, my Knight, Crusader, and my Repulsor Executioner. And that one went miserably. And I also believe I had aggressors in there, 6-man aggressors. And that one went miserably. I won that one. Miserably for him. I won that one. My second game was up against Noise Marines and his Forge Fiend and all that. And this one was rough. It was a really close game. I had some... Because I had a lot of different things. I had a Librarian and Phobos leading Eliminator Squad, and I was deep striking them onto my... Not my home objective, but the closest one, and not mid. And just to get some early game points, which really helped out, and definitely was doing damage to his his demon princes when they could. and that one went miserable fast for me. I deep striked a 10-man break of Terminators onto the far objective from me. I had my Brutalis on the mid objective, my Predator Destructor overlooking the mid objective. Same with my Knight, but he was on the close objective, not my home. And behind him was my Repulsor Executioner looking down a far lane, trying to see if he would pop out his Demon Prince. And eventually, Lucian and the Demon Prince just kind of went nutty on his rolls. And just absolutely, between his Noise Marines, absolutely destroying my Terminators because I was not able to roll to save my life. This was my first explosion in a tournament from my Predator. And just everything else was brutally massacred. And from there, I was like, well, I need some uppy downy units and whatnot. So I got a Reaver Captain or something along those lines, and I kit bashed him. And he turned out way better than I thought. I put on Phobos, the Eliminator head on it. I cut up his knife and put a Tyrannid claw in there and made it into like a little sword. And painted him up, which my painting skills are not the greatest, but he definitely turned out adequate. And then I needed a Tech Marine. So I got a Tech Marine, and this Tech Marine I painted up and used him every time. And a couple other models here and there. I mean, I bought a whole bunch of different things. I got a good deal from one of the Titan guys. He was selling his Space Marines, so I bought that, and it was definitely worth it. He sold my cousin Dreadnought, and then I bought the rest because I always need more Space Marines. And once it was all said and done, this was right before my latest tournament, and my latest tournament was not bad, but not great. I started recording all of my win losses a little bit before that, and we had different games. I did a game against my buddy Chris. He was playing Grey Knights, which was a 22-13 victory for me. And then I challenged my brother over TTS, which I have Twitch videos if you want to go watch them. So I challenged my brother, and I won that one for 49-23, and he was playing Death Guard. And then we get into the latest tournament that I had. My first opponent was James, awesome Space Marine guy. I think he was a little bit newer to the tournament aspect himself, and definitely I helped him out, and we kind of talked things out as we went. But that was a renowned victory. He was all Terminators. He had all Terminators, and they were annoying, and he had one Land Raider to get his melee Terminators up into battle. But that I was just rolling good dice. Battle shocks were in my favor. Just tons of things were going my way, and that one was a beautiful victory of 90-10. And then from there, it all went downhill. My second game was against a man named Jason. He is an amazing Tyranids player. He has played Tyranids since day one. He hasn't built any other armies. He has a beautiful paint scheme. I wish I would have had pictures. And how he played them is amazing. If he took them to a bigger tournament, I think he would do really well. I lost that one 17-52. And then my last game was up against a different Knights player by the name of Bowman. And Bowman, he plays Knights well. And there were some times where I was up and then I was down. I was up and I was down. And I was down more than I cared to admit, because he had some tanky units. I had squishy units, and it was rough. And I lost that one. Not as bad as my second game, but my third game I lost by 65 to 82. And from there, I haven't been to a game since, which is unfortunate. This was back in January of this year, which isn't long ago, but it wasn't horribly short. But now I have way more models. And I definitely want to try some new things. Hopefully I can convince my brother and whatnot to play with me, and hopefully we can do some different things. Just a little insight to all of the units I have. I have 25 Infernus Marines, 20 regular Intercessors. My lovely maximum of what I'll ever get is 30 Assault Intercessors, 1 Terminator Captain, 20 Terminators, 6 Aggressors, 1 Captain in Gravis Armor, 3 Eliminators, 6 Blade Guard Veterans, a Captain with Relic Shield, 1 Librarian and 1 Phobos Librarian, Robbie G, who has been the GOAT for me. He has been in my last 2 tournaments and has helped me tremendously in my victories when I was winning. But I'm definitely not the greatest player. 1 Calgar, the old model, 2 Victrix Honor Guard that came with the Calgar, 1 Tech Marine, 1 Captain with Jump Pack that I got in the case, but didn't have any units for him to lead, unfortunately. 1 Combi Weapon Lieutenant, which is my Kit Bash guy. 2 Vindicators that I got. 1 Predator. I have 2 Repulsor Executioners now, which I'm thinking about switching up, give me some more points elsewhere. I have 1 Repulsor, 1 Brutalis Dreadnought, 1 Redemptor Dreadnought, and a proxy for Uriel Ventress. And that's the funny thing, is Uriel Ventress is the GOAT. Right before the new detachments came out, I used Uriel Ventress as a way to give my aggressors deep strike. So my aggressors and Terminators were in deep strike, and that helped out a lot, getting them to deep strike, get to the back lines, and use those flamers just to hit his squishies and take home objectives was really nice. I wish they had invuln save, which would be huge for them. They would be god tier, and if I could figure out a proper way to implement that, I think they would be worthy of a permanent on my list, because I love the aggressors with their Flamestorm. And other than that, I think that's it, and hopefully I can do more of these. And if you like what you're watching and listening to, then I will do more, and of course be on the lookout for more gaming and all of the above. So we will catch you guys later.